good? Am I cute? So, hey guys, my name is Rose. My Instagram account is Rosemarie_fit, and I am here just to do a quick little video just to talk about my vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery experience. I just want to share my personal experience with you guys about VSG. So, let's start with my stats, okay? So I'm 5 foot 2 inches tall, 2.5. I currently weigh 177 pounds. My highest weight was 255 pounds. I am almost a year and a half out from surgery. My surgery date was December 15th, 2015. It was right before Christmas, right before the holidays, and there was a lot of deprivation going on. My first visit to the the first thing I did, let's rewind a little bit. The first thing I did when I became interested in bariatric surgery was I attended a seminar. This was back in 2009, and this was at our local hospital. And at the time, they didn't really talk about VSG. It was mostly referencing the lap band and the gastric bypass. And at that point, there was somebody there from the hospital who was familiar with people that worked at my employer, and they said, sorry, but your employer doesn't cover or any sort of bariatric surgery under their policy, so you would have to be self-pay. So that was kind of a bummer, but I just convinced myself at the time that I could do this on my own, I didn't need anybody's help, and that I would reach my weight loss goals without any sort of medical intervention. So fast forward to 2015, I was at my highest weight ever, which was 255 pounds. I was frustrated with my weight loss. I would go on a low carb diet, do exercise, still wouldn't reach my goals. And I just got so frustrated, and I was ready for this chapter of my life to be over. I had entered my 30s, and this was still, I had entered my 30s, and this was still something that was plaguing me, was my weight issue. I felt like it was holding me back in my love life, in my career, with relationships with friends, being able to go out and enjoy my life. It was holding me back with travel, and I was just ready to just move on with my life and start a new chapter. So the first thing I did was I called my health insurance carrier, and I asked them flat out, do you guys cover bariatric surgery? Because I knew you didn't a few years ago. And they said, oh, we do. And I said, sweet. So then the next thing I did was I found out what bariatric surgeons were on their plan, accepted their plan. So I found one who was board certified at my local hospital, and I set up a consult with him. And my BMI at the time was 44. The requirement, every insurance policy is different. So for me to sit here and tell you what's required, it wouldn't do any good because every policy is different. My policy had certain requirements. So in my particular situation, they wanted a BMI of over 40 if you didn't have any obesity related diseases, and they wanted one of, let me just turn the lighting down a little bit. They wanted one of 35 and 35 to 40 if you had at least 2 obesity related diseases. I met the criteria, and when I talked to the surgeon, I explained my struggles with weight He set me up with a nutritionist. I had to redo the seminar all over again. It's a requirement. And from that point, I met with the patient coordinator, who literally gave me a list of things that I needed to have done before I would be cleared for surgery. Some examples of some of the things that I had to do were I had to have an appointment with a nutritionist. I had to, what else did I have to do? Oh, I had to get a letter from my primary care doctor recommending me for bariatric surgery. I had to get an EKG, an upper GI barium swallow, like a full blood work. I had to get an H. pylori test, which is a virus that lives in your gut, and I was actually positive for that. So I had to make sure that my H. pylori was treated and gone before I had surgery. And so once the list, everything on that list was checked off, I didn't have to do a pre-op diet. Some people have to do like a 6-month supervised diet. My plan didn't require that, so I was lucky. Once I checked off all those requirements, they called me. They let me know that my surgery was approved, and they set a surgery date. And since I had come out of, my health insurance had paid out so much in that calendar year for all these requirements, I was really pushing for them to do the surgery before the end of 2015. And they did. So that's why I had it right before Christmas. So then I was approved. I went in at 10 a.m. on December 15th, 2015 for surgery. My mom said I was in there for like 30, 45 minutes tops, and I came out and I felt this intense pain behind my shoulder blades. It felt like stabbing, and that was the gases that they pump you with. The air migrates to your shoulder blades, and I didn't really feel any pain in my abdominal region. They also did a hiatal hernia repair, and I was like eating slushy the whole time. I had told the hospital in my preoperative workup that I'm very sensitive to anesthesias. So they made sure to give me something called an Emen pill. They put a patch behind my ear, and they also gave me Zofran so that I wouldn't come out of surgery just throwing up. So I was like eating, my mom was like feeding me slushy like right after surgery because I was like parched. And then, so I know this is crazy, but I walked out of surgery that same day at 3 p.m. So I went in, they rolled me in at 10 a.m. and I walked out at 3 p.m. My surgeon does not keep sleeve patients overnight, just the bypass patients, keeps them one night. So your mileage may vary on that. My surgeon did not do a catheter. I was on the operating table for like 30 minutes. He was like, just go to the bathroom beforehand. I didn't really have to worry about any of that. He did the leak test. They test your pouch just to make sure you don't have a leak. He did that while I was under. I've heard of people coming out of surgery and having to like do a barium swallow and roll around the table. So try to find a surgeon that does all this stuff while you're under, just to make your experience a little bit easier. Let's see. So, and then I went home. I was off of work. I was working from home at the time as a desk job, and I took a week off and I started up the next week, but my surgeon wrote me out of work for a total of 3 weeks. And overall, I just felt like I had done like a ton of crunches. It was difficult. I'm a stomach sleeper, so I couldn't really sleep on my stomach, so I just like sleep like propped up like that. And overall, it was a very pleasant experience. I'd had my wisdom teeth removed the previous, like a couple months prior, and that actually was, to me, more difficult, more painful than the vertical sleeve surgery. So that's my experience. Since then, I have not had any complications. I did suffer from GERD before I had this, and I'm on acid reflux medications. It doesn't really bother me. Shortly after surgery, I did have like a little flare-up, and they put me on Carafate, which is basically, it just lines the stomach and it prevents ulcers. So yeah, so that's it. I'll do another video soon. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, hit a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, subscribe. Thank you. Take care.